We all good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mary Santora's right over there.
Hi, guys. Happy New Year.
And Poundcake back there in Studio G.
Happy New Year, white people. Hi.
It's very exciting. 2023. Everybody's back in town and happy. And I had my very first appointment with a podiatrist this morning, just this a.m. I've been having some pain on the outside of my right foot, and I go, first I didn't think anything of it. I thought, well, maybe it's new shoes, but then I go, I don't have any new shoes. Maybe it's something else. So I go, you know what? Make an appointment. And the guy looks at me, takes a couple x-rays, comes back in, he goes, well, you have an extra bone in your foot.
What?
He goes, how you got to, I'd never seen this guy before, and he goes, how you got to 51, and that has never given you any problems is beyond me. I go, okay. I said, he goes, I give you a shot or something. I go, no. I said, I just want to make sure it wasn't like a stress fracture or something, because it lasted for like a month. And it's not excruciating, but it's more than sore. And I go, well, he goes, yeah, you got an extra bone in your foot. I go, okay, cool. So I got an extra bone in my foot. Now, I don't know how common that is. What?
It's like you want an extra one in yo.
Do I want what?
An extra bone in yo.
I just wanted to borrow your extra bone. That's all.
I'm talking about my foot, Cody.
I get it.
He doesn't care.
He does.
Doesn't
You know
care.
what? He has
Welcome
been
back.
pent up.
Yes.
It's not his fault. He's been pent up. Did you go to Trust for New Year's Eve?
I did.
How did you not run into the Kurt man?
I don't know.
He was telling us, he goes, yeah, we were all like, what did you do for New Year's Eve? He's like, oh, I went to Trust. I go, in Ohio City? Because we had dinner at Bartleby a couple nights prior, where Crop used to be. And I really wanted to get over to that spot there in Ohio City, that condo. And he goes, oh, we went to this place called Trust. I go, I think Poundcake was posting from there on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I was.
And I go, is that a big place? He's like, it's not that big. I'm like, how did you two not see each other? Or was one of you ignoring the other and he was just being too nice to say it?
I did not see him.
You didn't see him at all?
He could have.
Wow.
He could have. I think I saw him, out in the whatever we call it. And he was like, were you at Truss on New Year's Eve? I said, yeah, I was.
Isn't a truss a jock strap? An athletic
I have no
supporter is
idea.
called a truss. Why did they name their bar Truss?
Maybe it stands for something? Totally reliable under
I don't know.
social.
It's like a-
Tom and Russ's Trust.
The
Okay.
place where we were was like a banquet hall, so I don't
Oh,
know.
all right.
They have like weddings and stuff there. But no, I
How did you afford New Year's Eve?
paid for it in advance.
I gave him $200.
Oh, that's right. We're going to weigh him today.
Yeah.
Right. We weighed him, right, to get that $200. Oh, so did Mary's money pay for your New Year's Eve celebration?
Actually, it absolutely did because I paid
You're
for
welcome.
it. I paid for it beforehand because I knew my gays were coming home and they wanted something to do. And this girl that we always go out with, she is like the gay whisperer. She has the tickets to all the Pride events before. It wasn't necessarily a Pride event, but like she has all the tickets to the Who's Who events before we even know about them. So she was like, hey, I got a discount. Do you want to go? And I was like, sure, I ain't got nothing planned for New Year's Eve and my gays will be home. So sure, we'll go. And it was this masquerade or like circus theme. People, they had fire breathers and people dangling from the ceiling. And I'm like, okay, but is there free food and free booze? And she said, yes. I said, okay, I'm there. Just give me free food and free booze.
Well, you
I'm
paid for it.
Yeah, but I had a discount.
But it was included.
So how much did it cost you?
Mine was $150. I think it was $200.
That's pretty cheap, man, for New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
Wow, that's cheap. Good for you.
Yeah,
And you
like-
you looked good.
Thank you.
Did you get a new haircut or something?
Yeah, I did.
Doesn't he look good?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went
that's
to my
right.
stylist.
Yeah, Bill Stylist helped me out.
Oh, not your usual barbershop dude?
No, because he's like,
He's in Jordan still?
he's gone. I think his shop legit closed up because I cannot find
Oh.
it anymore. So he just probably moved back. I was going to my brother's barber for a little bit, but that's all the way out in Lorraine.
And that dude would also cut you down to, like, he'd take you to a 1 on top every time.
But
and
he-
you're trying to do have a little more length now.
Well, he did it the way I asked him to. Like
Okay.
he didn't do anything I didn't ask him to, but I realized all the pictures. Turns out I just like to waste time because I held out hope throughout my whole 20s when my hairline was receding back. I had hope, like, because we had the finasteride and minoxidil, and Dr. Berglund says, oh, you can grow it back. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he's walking around looking like Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
So I was trying to grow it back, and then now that I'm 30, I kind of just gave up hope. I was like, if it's not, it is what it is now. It's not going to grow back. So now might as well utilize the hair that I have. And
Why don't you get yourself a Bosley?
But it looks good this
it's,
way.
it's
Yeah,
not,
it does look good this way.
I don't think I'm in the mid stages where I don't need, it's not to the point where I need to get hair plugs or Bosley. It's just you need to maintain the hair that you have. If it gets any worse, if it turns out and I look like one of those potato head characters where it just has a little bit of hair on the top, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, poor Fred Armisen. Have you seen Fred Armisen?
Oh, no.
Oh, we were watching a show called Baking It. It's Amy Poehler. It's Maya Rudolph. It's an NBC thing where they have 4 celebrity guests cook for these grandmas or something like that. It's really entertaining and really fun. And it was Kristen Bell, J.B. Smoove, who was just on the show here, Fred Armisen, and Nicole Richie. Fred Armisen is going completely bald on top. So if you see him from straight on, if you're level with him, he's got some curls in the front, and then if you see him from the side, but when they do that unfortunate overhead shot, he's got like a Friar Tuck going on. And I'm like, man, I would put some, perhaps he's not vain enough to do it, or he probably figures, how many times am I going to be shot from overhead?
Right.
But, man, that's unfortunate.
And that's what I'm
Put
saying.
like a muskrat in there or something. If you got like a bald donut on the top of your head, oh, God.
Well, I mean, I'm not, at this point, I don't even care anymore. Before I was like really insecure about it, but like get it on camera. You can see how far back it goes. And then the fact that I have length on the top, it kind of like, it's not a comb over. It's just like, it just happens to lay that way. But like my hairline's back there and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to get,
Wear a lot of hats.
no, I'm not a hat gay yet. I'm going to,
Yet.
there's people that have less.
I'm not a hat gay
I'm not a
yet.
hat gay yet.
What is a hat gay?
Guys who
That's exactly what it
are
sounds
balding
like.
and they wear hats all the time.
Well, straight guys do that too. What
Right,
is a
but-
hat gay?
It's called
They,
hat
they do
fishing.
that, but then they also
Oh, he
have
means
sex
he's
with men.
gay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the part you
Pretty
left
simple.
out. Yeah, all right. I guess that was implied. Huh. So you mean a hat? I'm not going to become a hat guy. There's all kinds of
Wrong
dudes that
vowel.
do that. Right.
Yeah, no, I changed all of my, since that was like that picture that I posted was like a hot commodity. I changed all my dating profile pictures to that one.
Good for you.
And then I'm not catfishing anybody. That is really what my hair looks like when it's combed.
Good for you. When it's combed.
When it's combed.
Yeah. But everybody had fun. There was nobody got, I was reading about this girl who got hammered on New Year's Eve and asked the Uber driver to just let her off on the side of the road. This in Colorado. She and some friends were taking an Uber after a party and she's hammered and she didn't want to puke in the car. So they go, you know what? Let us off here. We're going to end the ride. They get off on the side of the highway or the road or something. This girl's hammered. She goes walking in the middle of the highway, gets hit twice and killed.
Sheesh, the
And I'm
old-
like, oh, the old flim
Meet Joe
flam
Black.
flu. Yeah. Just knocked up 50 feet in the air, carouseled up there and lands and somebody else hits you.
That did not happen.
Oh, good. Everybody got home safely.
I did a show on New Year's Eve out at Geneva on the Lake Brewing Company, and did one there last year. Went great last year. This year things got a little dicey because some people were a little, they call it amateur night,
Mm-hmm.
Here's Eva's amateur
and
night.
and that's exactly what happened. There was the center table, and this 60-person room. Everyone's in there having a good time. I'm on last. The people at this center table have been drinking since 4 o'clock, I'm
Sure.
told.
Yeah.
And they're not young people either.
They never are.
No,
is
that's
like-
why they're
yeah.
drinking all day long. I
Yeah.
started drinking mimosas at 9 a.m. I didn't stop till midnight.
Good
And
for
I'm
you.
halfway through my set, and all of a sudden, and they're pretty rowdy, but I'm able to just kind of ignore
Yeah.
them and play to the people, because there's a bunch of people that came to see me because they listen to the show. And I'm playing to those people in the room, and we're having a good time. And then all of a sudden, I just hear a crash and a loud thump, and this lady fell out of her chair and hit her head hard.
She okay?
Like, you heard, she insisted that she was okay after 5 minutes of them getting her back in the chair and everything. And
That's only like a 1 foot fall, right? I mean, she was sitting down,
she
Yeah,
was,
but
or was she in a
still.
high top chair?
If you don't put your hands down, you go straight to face. I mean,
your head is still, even if you're in like a regular chair, that's still a pretty good fall to
Yeah.
hit your head.
Yeah,
And so,
but you're drunk, so you go limp.
yeah, so that's, I don't know if she ended up being okay. So we made sure that, she insisted she was okay. They were all drunk. They weren't going anywhere. So they all just sat there, not even talking after
But it
that.
brings the show to a screeching halt.
A screeching halt. And I'm just like, okay, because I expect in that situation, someone in the group to have the good sense to be like, okay,
Time to go.
we should probably leave.
Nah, she's
But
not about to ruin
they
your good time.
doubled down
Yep.
and sat there until the show was
They
over.
were like, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
She does
and,
this all the time. It's her thing.
They know their limits.
and so we got through that, and it was just one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad this, on a night like that, New Year's Eve pays well.
This is like
So,
halfway into your set?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to do, like, I was only supposed to do 30 minutes. So I was like 15 minutes in, and I had another 15 to kill,
At that point.
counting the 5-minute break we took to make sure she was okay. But it was just awkward. And the whole room, like, felt it the rest of the time. So there was no real recovering from
Right.
that. Just one of those things that you're like,
Dude,
I don't like doing New Year's Eve shows.
I have not worked a New Year's Eve since 2018 because of that. Because they do pay really well. Like,
But you earn it.
But I'm like, yeah, you're fighting. These people are hammered. It is amateur hour. And I'm like, you know what? Since 2019, I've stayed home and just like had very chill indoor New Year's Eves, and I love it.
But that's the thing is, everybody else in the crowd was great.
Yeah.
And it just really bummed me out that it kind of messed up the show for them because they were all having a good time and they were
Yeah,
all at
that's
like
true.
a pretty good level. Like they weren't hammered, but you had this one table in the middle that was, well, there was another table in the back. And there was like
And then also the two tables on the left.
Well, and then
there
there's also like the back door kept like blowing open from the wind. I don't know how. So it was just a typical New Year's Eve show, which was kind of a shrimp show. But what are you gonna do? It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah. All right, good. Listen, I'm going to take a break. If you want to join us on the phone, please do. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. You want to text 35192, and you can watch live if you like at alancoxshow.com.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
Or whatever smart